Hello to all my happy lost souls, or if you're not a subscriber and you hate the content, well, sorry I wasted any little bit of your time. I know how important that is to everybody. It's all we have, right? Time. Anyway, I know my channel is pretty bizarre. I am the creator of it, and it's my music, which is mostly handwritten tunes. I do a few covers. It's mostly an emotional outlet. I'm a writer. I've been doing it since I was like 8 years old probably. And as soon as I figured out how to play any kind of instrument halfway decent, I was like, yeah, I can get all this crap out of me. It's my therapy, really. If you enjoy any of that, or if, like most of you, because I had about 20 subscribers with my music, I started putting up archaeological stuff about my collection and about my other hobby, passion, something I went to school for. Something I'm really into, and mainly I'm into trying to figure out the puzzle that is North America and South America, the Americas, and Canada too. Um, the story of ancient us all throughout it, all that's been created is this paradigm based on the oldest thing found in the 13,000, 14,000 year layer, whatever. Um, it's technically about 15,000 years ago. It's 13,000 BCE for Common Era. You can't say before Christ anymore or whatever. But so they was out there in, I guess, Clovis, no, New Mexico, where they found this first type of let's say projectile point design, a type of fluting where um, a portion of the core is hollowed out so the shaft can fit into it flawlessly. This creates a much deadlier projectile, one that's more aerodynamic, one that has way greater penetrating power, stronger bow, um, and also allowed for a point that is going to come back out and you can reuse it, straighter, truer flight, more deadlier. Um, but anyway, required a greater skill of stone knapping. Well, the problem is they dug a little deeper and find nothing for a couple hundred more years, couple hundred. Oh, there's nothing, nothing, nothing. All right, 1,000 years, nothing. Just stopped. They say Clovis first, and also you have a lot of political stuff that gets tied into this. You have the Smithsonian, which is kind of put in place to um, control the story, the history. Um, and history is very, very important to a people. I don't like bringing up Hitler or the Nazis or anything like that. I'm not monetized. I would probably be instantly demonetized for mentioning his name. Oh, he's not copywritten anymore, so you can use his image, by the way, legally. But I'm not going to put his image up. The reason I brought him up is his little sidekick, his minion that ran the SS, Himmler. First he destroyed religion, and he had to create a new ethos for his people to believe in, a new history, a new origin story, and he manipulated it and bastardized it with racism and eugenics and this old knighthood, this time of Arthur, this Arthurian concept of chivalric knights. And anyway, he was forming a belief system. So history is very important because it can be used to control and manipulate and shape. And one of my greatest history teachers, Mr. Touchton, shout out, I went to Upper Moreland High School, Pennsylvania. But anyways, he always said, well, this is famous. He didn't say this, but he preached it anyways. The winners write the history, and that could be true in a sense. Anyway, this is a history that is being suppressed, and it's right under our feet. And the sheer amount of it. My collection looks vast, but I've only took a sampling. I left so many things behind. Um, I more look for evidence and pattern in design, both material and in shape, with the stone tool stuff. And um, right now, I'm staring off into my own stone tool collection that goes on and on and on. And the stuff you see on video is just stuff I'm working and organizing. I have drawers and drawers full of this stuff. 15 years I've been working on it heavily. And it's all centered around a creek known as the Pennypack. It flows for a long way. It starts from these limestone aquifers, natural springs that are in the water table where the ground becomes low and the ground is limestone allows the water table to push through up into the ground because lime is weird. As soon as water hits lime, it dissolves. It doesn't leave any sediment. It is chemical. It dissolves. It disappears, burns away, carried off by the water. So that's a strange thing. But anyways, it created these pools, these flood areas, and it sat on just an area where the water had to go. It was pushed and channeled into a fault, a major fault that runs through Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. A fault that is as big as San Andreas Fault, but a different type of fault. One that's not going to cause devastating earthquakes. But say that about 7, 8, yes, about 7 years ago, I said there was like a earthquake down in Virginia, and then again like 4 years ago in that area, and my whole house will shake up here. Everyone will feel it. You'll feel the tremors because of that fault line that we sit on. And the Pennypack has been flowing its little heart out since the Cambriatic period, which means it was covered by an ocean then, and it was still running under because it was being pushed natural water up through the ground. Anyways, it was worshipped, obviously, and it sits on this crazy geological fault in hot springs where you have these areas where the mantle is being pushed up and exposed by extreme geologic forces, by heat. So you have literally sheets of, think of things as hard as granite and quartz, diamond, being melted and stretched like accordions, like bands, and then frozen in these segments. You see that in the Wissahickon a lot too. But anyways, all these metals, all these materials are being exploited by many different people for thousands and thousands of years, apparently. Way older than the 13,000-year paradigm. But I too see a weird thing. In the few areas where washaways, and after rain you always go out, if a bank washes away and exposes the layer, and you can almost see down to bedrock, you can see all the time that has passed since the beginning of the creation of Earth, at least the rocky surface of Earth. You go down, the top layer is the newest, the one we're walking on, and we peel back these thin sheets representing hundreds and hundreds of years. And as we get down to that Clovis first, where we first start seeing these fluted tools, it stops. And there's this like at least almost 4,000 year period, if my math is right, where there's just not life. Nothing. There's no sun. It's Younger Dryas. Mini ice age that lasted a long period of time. The death of all the megafauna, all the woolly mammoths just disappeared, all of the giant sloths, all of the armadillos the size of your Volkswagen Beetle, all the giant everythings of that time period, saber-toothed tigers, the bear cats, the massive cave bears, all those massive, oversized animals of that time period, right? The time where if we were alive old enough, remnants of us, I may actually believe in that giant theory. I think, yeah, there's probably genetic versions of us that were way, way bigger. At one point, if armadillos were the size of cars, if there was anything like us around in an environment that could support that, we probably would be really big too. All these things died off, and they said that our advancement in tools must have done this. Well, the humans weren't around either. They stopped being tools. It's just really weird, thin compressed layers that like represent nothing happening, like floods and different, soot strata, rock powders of different types. Because not all rocks dissolve. Quartz leaves something called sediment or soot in a creek. A creek is sooty, it means there's lots of quartz. There's a lot of black soot, it means there's probably a silver in the area. But here nor there, I'm getting off track here. I don't put a lot of FaceTime in, but I wanted to say hi to you all. And go Eagles, because I'm from right outside of Philly and lived in Philly here and there. But if you think any of this stuff's interesting, or if you happen to like my music, or if you came to the channel for the rocks, check out the music. If you came with the music and you like talking about the old, ancient, mysterious, unknown, because guess what? We might find out that 4,000 year gap I'm talking about in those layers, it's just the start. All of a sudden, about 17,000 years ago, life starts picking up again. The quarries, all the artifacts become way more active but different. But just as advanced but in a different way. Very triangular, very diamond-like, some bifacially flaked, always super thin. This culture must have really venerated and valued precious stone and cuts of stone, and even their utilitarian tools were multifunctional. This is what I call the Salutrians. Whether they were really ancient seafarers 17,000 years ago, towing round Kufar boats around, way lower sea level, ice sheet way lower, all the way down through the North Pennsylvania area that ice sheet fell into during that time period. I believe they could have very easily got over here, and I think in fact they did. So I kind of think the Salutrian hypothesis holds a lot of weight. I don't think many of them got here, but I think the ones that did very well and found very rich habitat, and I don't think they necessarily needed to go back. And they were here long enough, obviously, to create a ton of byproduct and artifactual signature in the find areas. As you can check out the video Salutrian Quarries of PA. I have to give these dramatic titles, like wow, shock value, so I can get some attention and some traffic. But I just wanted to kind of get a little FaceTime and thank you all. And my name is Ron. I go by Junior, but I'm creator of Happy Lost Souls. It's it's a one man operation, but I hope you enjoy. And yeah. Um, so I did not flip my camera. This is my